Good evening, everyone. As most of you well know, I'm Ted the Speed Learner, and this is another For My Students video, but this is also a response video. Who am I responding to? I'm responding to a comment that Tiffany Oaks left on my YouTube channel. Now, I know a lot of you have never heard of Tiffany Oaks. That's perfectly okay. She does have a YouTube channel. She has over 1,200 subscribers, and she has over 100,000 lifetime views. So if you want to go check out her channel, go right ahead. Okay? Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to welcome Tiffany Oaks to my YouTube channel. I'm actually going to send this video to her, and I'm sure she's going to watch, and I'm sure she's going to respond. As a matter of fact, she was critiquing one of my Instagram review videos. That's what prompted this video. Okay? So what is my response? Well, I already left a text comment, but I felt it wasn't enough, so I'm going to go ahead and make this video here. Okay. This is a simple case of a college-educated, I did say college-educated, you'll find that out later, but this is a simple case of a college-educated person who obviously didn't learn the art of being observant. I'm not sure how that happened, but okay. I honestly thought colleges taught techniques in observation. Apparently not all of them do, otherwise this video probably would not be necessary, but okay. Anyway, how do I know that Tiffany Oaks is college educated? Because I actually watched her videos plural, not one, but several of her videos, and in one of them, she actually mentions that she's college educated. Okay? I practice, and I practiced on her videos, the art of observation. Okay? Alright. Now, I'm sure Tiffany Oaks would like to know what I learned from her videos. Well, I'll just give you a small sampling. In one of her videos, and I'll go ahead and now address you, Tiffany Oaks, in one of your videos, you were sitting on a park bench on a Saturday afternoon. You specifically said you were there on a Saturday afternoon. You obviously abhor the sound of cicadas. You said so yourself, and I don't blame you. You also mentioned that you were going to produce a separate video to discuss one of your recent clothing purchases. And you did. And the clothing purchase, if I recall correctly, was from JCPenney, and you guys can watch that video anytime you like because it's up there. Okay. You spoke of some recent sadness in your life, and that made me feel awful. I was like, how could a person be just that sad? I'm sorry. I just really feel awful that you're that sad. Okay? And you have my deepest sympathy. You also mentioned that you have a dog. Well, we'd like to know a little bit more about this dog, how old the dog is, what breed the dog is, what's the name of the dog, so on and so forth. Okay? I am glad that you have a dog for company. Alright. I'm sure you're very proud of your pet, and if you decide to respond to me, I'm sure you'll mention more details about your dog. I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd like to know that. I can tell you I have seen hundreds, if not thousands of videos all over YouTube where people were endlessly babbling about their pets. Or just showing their pets and showing what the pets do. So I know people are interested in pets. Okay? I also feel awful that so many people mistreat you in one of your darkest hours. That's not very nice. I find that very abhorrent, as a matter of fact. I also send my sympathy to you, well, not to you specifically, but to your Facebook. You had a Facebook friend, and they had a recent loss. I send my deepest sympathy for that. Okay? I'm sure that your Facebook friend is having a rough time right now, and can use as much sympathy as that person can get. Okay. Now, I am glad you have a memento from a friend that you recently lost. I'm sure it brings back fond memories, and it's something you can always treasure. And that's a good thing to have. Now, I hope you won't allow tragedy to keep you from riding scooters in the future. You should experience life to the fullest. And that just doesn't go out just to you, it goes out to everybody. Everybody should experience life to the fullest. I know I have, and I'm sure there's lots of others who have done the same. Now, you mentioned that you were experiencing some financial hard times. We all are experiencing that. I'm experiencing that. I'm sure that a lot of my viewers are experiencing this as well. And for that, you have my deepest sympathy. I hope they don't last very long. And in your video, you mentioned that you attended a university. As a matter of fact, you were sitting on a park bench at that very university. You said so yourself. But of course, you never mentioned what you majored in that university. And I'm sure you mentioned that in another video, and I'm sure if I watch enough of your videos, I'll find this out. Hopefully I will. Alright. I'm glad that you and your husband, Eric, are being afforded an opportunity to travel. Sometimes getting away from all of life's troubles eases life's pressures. And that's a true statement. Okay? And obviously you value physical fitness. That became very apparent to me in your video. I presume you regularly shop at Kohl's and at JCPenney as well, because that's what you mentioned in your video. Well, you mentioned Kohl's in one video and then you mentioned JCPenney in another. Either you actually go to the physical stores or you shop online. You probably do both. I don't know. I don't know all of it. I'm sure you'll say something. You mentioned that you like the color yellow, but you hate dividers in purses. Obviously, your purse is made out of leather, but has it been treated so it will be water resistant? Because leather can be damaged by excessive water exposure. I know that for a fact. Of course, you don't mention this in the video. Maybe you will in your response video to me. Now, I could ramble on, but I think I've made my point. I'm a very observant person. This came from the fact that I got this observation training in high school. It proceeded on into vocational school, and it went on straight through college. Now, the reason I didn't complete college is because my Pell Grant ran out. And when that ran out, I couldn't go on. One of the things about the Pell Grant is that whenever you get a full-time job, your Pell Grant goes bye-bye real fast. And that's exactly what happened to me. I ended up getting a full-time job. Pell Grant disappeared. There you go. Okay? Alright. Now, how observant are you? Well, let's find out. I know that my popularity on YouTube is rapidly increasing. After all, I've got over 800 people watching me on a regular basis. And that's a good thing. However, I'm not entirely sure how you stumbled upon one of my Instagram reviews. I'm sure you'll reveal that to me in a response video. That is, if you decide to respond at all. And I have a feeling that's exactly what you're going to do. I'll be eagerly awaiting your response. So you watched a 3-minute video and decided you knew everything about me. Is this what you consider being college observant? I don't think that's very college observant, but that's my personal opinion. If you want to disagree with me, go ahead and feel free. You obviously fail to observe that my channel is primarily an educational channel. You would have known this if you had watched my featured video. Now, you have been on YouTube long enough to know what a featured video is. So, I wouldn't go on the air and claim you don't know what a featured video is. How could you not? You've been on YouTube since 2011. Yes, another observation of mine. And you don't know what a featured video is? Anyway. By not watching my featured video, you obviously missed my mission statement. Okay? Primarily, I focus on adult education. However, people can find bullies in junior high, high school, college, and even in the workplace. You can find a bully anywhere if you look hard enough. Okay? So I do happen to have a very diverse audience. Obviously, I have a vested interest in those experiencing the situations I clearly describe in my featured video. That means you'll probably have to go to my featured video and watch that to discover what I'm talking about. And I refuse to believe that you don't know what a YouTube feature video is, and I already said that. Okay? Anyway, as a matter of fact, I assert that you know much about social media. How could you not? You've been on YouTube since 2011, you have 1,200 subscribers, and you have videos out the wazoo. How could you possibly not know about social media? And if you are as college educated as you claim to be, you must be well aware of the current American economic situation. I'm referring to the United States, obviously. I'm not referring to Canada or to Mexico. Thousands of people across the country right now simply don't know what they will eat for their next meal. They aren't sure if they will be homeless in the near future. College-educated students aren't sure if they will find any gainful employment once they are graduated. Imagine the dread they must feel thinking that they will have to live with their parents once again after they graduate. Here they are, they have left their parents, they went to college, they got all this college education, and now they presume they're going to end up living back with their parents after they graduate from college. I can't even imagine the dread of that. Now, do you think that college kids are the only ones thinking about this? Absolutely not. Okay? There are many in high school thinking about this very same thing. I'm not kidding you. From freshman to senior, they all are thinking, man, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get this education, then I'm going to have to move back in with my parents. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to get married, and I want to have kids, and I want to live in my own house. But they know that's not likely going to happen. So you can imagine the dread on that. Some don't even know if they're even going to get a chance to go to college. Sometimes their parents simply can't afford it, and if they can't get a proper Pell Grant, they don't go. It's that simple. You say, well, what if they win scholarships? Well, you know, those scholarships are entirely dependent on whether you succeed in those classes or not. Now, if you don't make a good grade in those classes, guess who gets to pay for that college bill? You do. Scholarship will only pay if you succeed in the classes. So that puts extra pressure on the students. Pressure they don't really need. So, in desperation, high school and college students alike embrace social media as their final hope in obtaining high-paying, gainful employment. This is a sad fact here in the United States, but it's absolutely true. And you should well know this by now. As you and I well know, uploading content on YouTube won't guarantee social media success. As nice as the content is up there, but if people don't watch it, if people don't view it, well, there you go. I remember when I started uploading videos to YouTube, it was an entire week before anybody watched any of my videos. Okay? It took 2 years, that's right, 2 years passed before my lifetime video view count exceeded 100,000 views. And that's quite a monumental achievement. I'm now hanging around approximately 400,000 views. Not quite there yet, but we're getting close. Okay? So I myself know how difficult it is for anyone to become popular on social media. I'm sure you realize this as well. Social media is really hard work, and one mistake can finish you real fast. Now, I've considered and utilized many techniques to increase my popularity on social media. I've videotaped popular parades. I've participated in the Relay for Life. I've searched the state of Illinois for looking for Lincoln Heritage Coalition wayside markers. I've critiqued other YouTube videos. I've collaborated on a couple of YouTube videos. And I've critiqued many Instagram photos, as you obviously well know. Now, I accomplish many things by reviewing Instagram photos. I challenge Instagram users to photograph more interesting things around them. Because the more interesting the photo, the more interesting the questions I will have for them, which will increase their popularity and my own. So it's a win-win for both of us. I assist them in their search for followers and likes. Think about it for a second. When I upload an Instagram review like I do, lots of people, lots of my subscribers go out there and they take a look at those people's photos. If they really like what they see, they become followers. They like these people's photos, making them more popular. When they become more popular, of course, that reflects back upon me, and it makes me more popular as well. Because other Instagram people out there are then encouraged to send photos to me to review. That's a fact. I've had a few of those. And I'll get into why I haven't done a lot of Instagram lately. I will talk about that later on in my video. Okay? Now, here's the thing. When somebody sees my review and they realize the reason why I did it, then they start telling people about my educational YouTube channel. People start checking out my videos. They start watching them. And they learn a lot. And they also learn that there is more than one way to make a fortune in this world. You don't have to be a YouTube or Instagram star to make a fortune in this world. There are other ways to pull it off. And the more educated you are, and the faster you learn, the more likely you'll make a pretty good salary in the not-so-distant future. And that's a fact. And when they begin to realize this, it raises their self-esteem, and they become productive members of society. Productive tax-paying members of society. See? So, like I say, it's a win-win for myself, for the person I'm reviewing. Okay? Well, actually, I'm not reviewing the person, I'm reviewing their photo. They make better photos. They take better photos. They also learn a lot from me. And they utilize that education to find higher paying gainful employment, which is exactly what I want them to do. And in some of their situations, because they're being bullied so bad, whether it be junior high, high school, college, and don't tell me it doesn't happen in college, think of Virginia Tech. That ought to tell you something. People get bullied in college just as much as they do in high school. Some people get bullied in their workplaces. So, there you go. But these people can utilize this education to advance their education and stray away from the bullies they're having to deal with on a regular basis. Bullies in one room, they're in another, they don't get beat up anymore. Problem solved. Okay. See what I mean? So what is my criteria for reviewing Instagram photos? I don't just go to some random account and say, hey, I'm going to review your photo now. It doesn't work that way. First, the video must, not the video, but the photo itself must be public. I don't review people's private photos. It doesn't happen here. Okay? Some people don't want their account or their photos to be public. So the first criteria I look for is the photo public? That's the first criteria. But that's not the most important criteria I go by. The second one is this. I also find a photo that either somebody else is promoting. Yes, people have friends and their friends promote their photos to try to get their friends' likes and follows. Get the idea? Okay, now that's one way it goes. Either that, or the person who took the photo enters their photo into an Instagram contest. And I've seen these contests. Who has the prettiest hair? Who sits down the nicest? It just goes on and on. You have no idea how many Instagram contests there are out there. And the purpose of an Instagram contest is this. If you enter the contest and you happen to be the winner, then that Instagram person will give you a shout out. So that gets you more likes and more followers. See what I mean? Now, the third criteria is this. Now, let's say a person has a public photo that's either entered into a contest or some friend has recommended them, and I look at that particular photo and I find nothing to review. Sometimes I do. Then I will go to that person's account and then look at some of their other photos and find something that I can actually review. Something innocuous. And I know you know what the word innocuous means because you are college educated. Okay? So, it's not that I just find things in a photo and review them. I find innocuous things to review. Okay? Now, it may not seem that way, but it's absolutely true. And let me tell you something before we really get started here. When advertisers place advertisements on your t-shirt or on your sweatshirt or on your hat, they mean for those things to get noticed. If you don't want anybody noticing all that, don't wear a shirt, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a hat, whatever it is. Don't wear something with advertisements on it. For one thing, you're promoting their products for free. Think about that. They're not paying you to wear those shirts. They're not paying you to wear those hats. You're just wearing them and they're getting money and you're not. That's the first thing. But as much as that advertisement draws attention to their products, okay, that advertisement, which is whether it be on your shirt, on your hat, or whatever, not only does it draw attention to their products, but it also draws attention to you. If you don't want attention drawn to yourself, don't wear shirts and t-shirts, whether it be t-shirts or sweatshirts or hats or nothing. Don't wear stuff that has advertisements on there because those advertisements are designed to attract attention. If you don't want attention, don't wear them. That's the way it works. Okay? So hopefully you people will learn this and realize this and not do that. Okay? So, like I say, if you don't want to be noticed, don't wear items of clothing like that. That would be the equivalent of taking a great big billboard sign, walking down on Times Square in New York City and just holding it up. You're going to get noticed, I promise you. That's the way it works. Now let me tell you something, that's the same way that when you take a public photo and you enter it into a contest or you have your best friend promote it. You might as well be walking down Times Square with a great big billboard saying, hey, look at me, look at me. When you enter the contest, you're holding the billboard sign yourself. But if you're having a friend promote you, okay, that'd be like walking in the middle of Times Square and telling your best friend, shout to everybody that they should take a look at me. That's what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing. So my criteria for choosing Instagram photos is 1, the person has to enter a public photo. The photo has to be public. 2, it has to either be entered into a contest or your friends are promoting your photo to get you likes or followers or both. Okay? That's when I start seeking you out. You draw attention to yourself, I come find you, and then I review your photo. That's how I do that. Alright? Now, why shouldn't I presume that if you're making your photos public and you're entering them into contests and you're having your friends promote them, that you wouldn't want likes and followers? Of course you're going to want likes and followers. That's why you do it. Very simple explanation. If that's what you're doing, you're out there to find followers and likes. And you can't pick who is going to follow you and who's going to like you. It doesn't work that way. Not in social media. Social media just simply does not work that way. You attract a few people, you're going to attract a lot of people. It's the way it works. You can't choose who follows you and who likes you. If you want to choose that, make your account private, never enter your photos into a contest, and never have your friends promote you. That's the way social media works. It's all or nothing. That's the way it works. I'm sorry you don't like that answer, but that's the absolute truth. Okay? Now then, some people are upset with my reviews just because they feel they fail to see what benefit my review could be to them. Not only do my reviews assist them in their search for likes and followers, but they actually discover my YouTube channel, which can give them the education they need so that they can become a productive citizen and not depend on the welfare system. That's the added benefit. Then they're not desperate to be on social media and try to obtain their income from social media, or not exclusively from social media. No one should feel like that they have to obtain their higher paying gainful employment strictly from social media. That's absurd and ridiculous. Now, if they paid a little closer attention to what I was actually doing, then they would improve their photography skills, pick better subject matter, and draw attention to themselves for the right reasons and not for reasons that a lot of people wouldn't approve of. Okay? Now, do these people know who I am? Absolutely. They sure do. Let's take a look at my Instagram account. I know that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to look at my Instagram account. You're going to find QR codes. Now, what is a QR code? I've covered that in a previous video. That's a fact. I'm sure by now you're going to go through all my videos to see if I covered QR codes. I did. Okay? But not only that, but if you look at my Instagram account, you will look and you will find a hyperlink on there. That hyperlink takes them to my main YouTube channel page. So they know who I am. So don't tell me they don't know. As a matter of fact, the word has gone forth after reviewing well over 20 photos. Okay? The word has gone out. I review Instagram photos. That's what I do. I ask 5 innocuous questions about their photo. Well, I try to ask 5. Sometimes I can't find enough material for 5, but I do try to ask 5. 5 is my lucky number, so there you go. Alright. Now then, I'm absolutely amazed that you didn't realize any of this before you responded to me. Now, if you do decide to respond to this video, do it in a college-educated way. I literally took the time, I watched your videos, I learned a lot about you. Obviously I did, you saw this in this video. I took the time to get to know you and to discuss this in a college-educated way. I would expect no less from you. If you're going to make a presentation, you make a solid presentation. You learn about me, you understand, you comprehend what I'm saying. I know we should be comprehending and not understanding. I know that. Okay? I had an English teacher whip me in the behind several times for that one. So anyway. Consider everything I discussed in this video. Don't play the evasive card. Well, I'm only going to talk about certain things. No, you don't play that. If you're going to enter a proper Roman forum and drop an honor challenge, then I expect you to play by college rules. And I think your university would expect no less of you. I think they would be very ashamed if you didn't. And I would agree with them. Okay? Now then. Again, I stress, don't forget to watch some of my other videos before you evaluate me. Learn about me before you make a critique of me. Okay? You just might discover that my purpose here on YouTube is benevolent and philanthropic. Now, by the way, I'm not going to just address you on this, but I'm going to address a lot of other people, because in previous videos I have mentioned that I was not the healthiest kid when I went to grade, middle, and high school. I also mentioned I wasn't the richest kid. Now these people have presumed that I was both destitute and that I was bedridden. This is absolutely incorrect. As a matter of fact, when I was younger, I actually owned a 10-speed bicycle. It wasn't the most expensive 10-speed bicycle in the world, but it was a pretty nice bicycle, to be honest with you. Okay? I didn't have the most expensive stuff, but I did have that. Okay? And I actually owned Frisbees. And I had a backyard cemetery. That's right. I actually lived in a one-story house. That was a truth. Okay? So I wasn't trailer trash back then. I'm still not trailer trash now. As a matter of fact, I own my own home. Thank you very much. And I'm proud of it. It may not be the biggest house in the world, but I do actually own it. Outright. I own my own car. I own everything in here. There is not an ounce of debt on me. Okay? So, there you go. And I'm not lying about this. It's absolutely true. When I was younger, I played with my Frisbee. I was all alone, so instead of tossing the Frisbee out like this, I would toss it up in the sky and I would run underneath it and catch it on the other side. I was a pretty lonely kid. That is true. Okay? And I used to ride my bike all the time. And I rode a 10-speed. I promise you I did. And I got pretty good at it, as a matter of fact. So obviously, I wasn't bedridden, and I certainly wasn't trailer trash either. Now, I did say in a video that I thought as a young boy, there was times when I actually thought that I would be evicted from my house. But that was only because of my lack of understanding of the family finances. Had nothing to do with my current, or at that time, my economic situation. My real economic situation was as bad as I thought it was. But I didn't understand finances back then. I do now. I can look back and laugh at myself for being mistaken about that. That's true. But back when I was younger, I had a misinterpretation of that. Okay? I did go to the Salvation Army. There's no question about that. But that's not the only place where I bought clothes. That's right. When I was a kid, we used to go to Kmart. We used to go to Kohl's. What we did was we bought the bulk stuff, the stuff that I would wear every day. I mean, let's just face it. When I went bike riding, I didn't care what I looked like. So those kind of clothes I bought from the Salvation Army, but I had good clothes for class pictures, or if I had to go to a special occasion, I had clothes for that. Good clothes that came from real department stores. So I wasn't as destitute as you guys would like to make me out to be. So, like I said, we were financially thrifty about things like that. Bulk clothes, we bought them at the Salvation Army. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, the income of both of my parents at the time was more than what food stamps would allow. We weren't even qualified for food stamps. We earned more than that. But we didn't earn a lot more than that. So, food stamps wasn't even an issue. So again, I wasn't totally destitute. But because I did go to the Salvation Army and I did meet some people there, I did know about their plights, and their plights were a lot worse than mine. So again, I wasn't destitute. I wasn't bedridden. There were just certain things I wasn't able to do as a kid that now I'm able to do. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, we actually went to restaurants. Shoot, I went to Godfather's Pizza. Poor kids didn't go to Godfather's Pizza. I promise you. Shoot, I can't tell you how many times I went to McDonald's and Burger Chef and Burger King and we go to Steak and Shake. So I wasn't totally destitute. So I wasn't the poorest kid. I just wasn't the richest kid. So I didn't get to do all these things all the time, but I did do them. So there you go. Anyway, in an upcoming video, I am going to talk about the hashtag. I'll talk about that as well. And The reason I have not done Instagram reviews lately is because I'm trying to design a thing for you guys to see on the screen while I'm doing the review. I'm going to do that through SVG. As you well know, I have been reviewing SVG all through my HTML videos, and another 2 or 3 lessons and you're going to see all my creations. You really will, and you're going to be amazed, and that's the reason why. Anyway, I welcome everybody's response. I thank you very much for watching. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner. I just happen to have a little time tonight to do all this. Tomorrow I will be in Blue Mound, and I will be recording video of some kind of a washer tossing contest. I'll see what that's all about. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. You have yourselves a great evening, and by all means, stay tuned.